Okay, everyone, welcome back to another episode. Today, we're doing a just kind of general review, like what we did with the Verity book by Colleen Hoover. Today, we'll be talking just a little bit about The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller.
Madeline Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Never knew that.
Me neither.
Listened to the whole book, didn't know the author's name.
On Tumblr, I just seen her refer to MM, and I was like, oh boy, can't wait to figure out who that is. Madeline Miller, The More You Learn. This is the most recent book we read for book club. We just ended up listening to it because we were busy. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that one. For all you wonderful listeners who wish you got more of my opinion for the Verity video, I'll be giving it to you today because I really liked this book and I want to yap about it.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. So, Song of Achilles is about Patroclus. Okay, I just want to say it firsthand. I don't know how to pronounce the main character's name in this book. They say it plenty of times. I heard it plenty of times. It comes out differently each time. I think it's more like Patroclus. I will not be schooling myself on it. What comes out is what he's called. Yeah. Just to be clear. That's the one thing I wish I made for this book club is keep track of all the different names we called him. To be like, oh, here's the many names of Patroclus, you know? Uh-huh. Anyways, so basically it's just a love story between Patroclus and Achilles, who are both in the Iliad by Homer. And basically it follows Patroclus' life from a child up to adulthood, into the Trojan War, and then to both of their deaths.
And who is Achilles?
Achilles is a Greek hero. Man, I don't know how accurate this is. I'll be completely honest. I didn't pay attention to the Iliad. I was an Odyssey girl in my youth. But in the book, he is a prince and the son of a human and sea nymph. So he's a demigod, and he has a great prophecy that he'll be like the best fighter, the best Greek warrior of his generation, etc.
Speaking of heel...
Oh, yeah. If you may be familiar with Achilles from like your Achilles heel, that turn of phrase, or your actual Achilles tendon in the back of your leg. Of course, Achilles is the hero who was invulnerable except for being wounded in his ankle. That was the only place I could kill him, or something like that. I don't think this will be a really good recap of the book, because I'll be so for real. For the most of this book, I was like, I'm not into it. Then we got to the last third, and then like the last 3 chapters, and I got really into it. That's all I can say. I wasn't even that into it by the end. Like, I didn't cry. I did not find this story that compelling, but I was like, hey, I love a good little ship. Let me look up Patroclus and Achilles on Tumblr. Let me tell you, where the book fails to get me interested, the fan art succeeds with a passion. I have been reblogging like nobody's business. Anyways, so I'm into the ship for Achilles. I'm into the relationship, even though the book was fine. I enjoyed the book. I've enjoyed it more than any book we've read in book club so far. I gave it a nice 4 stars.
To be fair, you said this might not be a comprehensive review. I think that will go for all of our book discussions. For sure. Unless we're reading the whole book along with you. You know what? You might want to have read the source material before if you totally want to know what we're talking about.
Yeah. What was I? Oh yeah, this is my favorite book that I've read for book club so far. And I'll be completely for real, it was nice not to read a book that was so boy-girl romancy. Like, a lot of, like, all the romances in the books we've read have always been het.
Yeah.
And it was just nice to have a little change. Just saying. So there's a few things. Do you want to chime? Just...
I mean, I'll get my feelings out on the book pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like it was a mid-book. I would maybe rate it as a soft 3.5, soft 4. The writing was okay, not compelling. It very much felt like once you realize this is a book that I'm just taking for fun, I'm not trying to think deeper about anything. Okay, it could be enjoyable. Again, as Tia said, the ending a lot more engaging. Very much like, could the whole book have not just been the Trojan War? Like, I did not need most of half or 3/4 of the book to be the other stuff. That was so dull.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were my feelings.
Nice, thank you. Anyway.
Back to my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with Beth. Things definitely got better once they got to Troy. There was some good parts before Troy. There's a part of Achilles cross-dresses for a while, and I was super into it. That's all I can say. Men in dresses, shout out. I'm a visual learner. Teach me what that is. Anyways, so basically, I just want to talk about some of the things that I didn't talk in book club that I feel unresolved about now because I didn't think about it at the time. I can remember one of them. There was 2 things I wanted to say. I only remember one of them, so I don't know. Maybe I'll do a solo part 2 if I finally remember what was that other factoid I wanted to talk about. But, okay, so my biggest dislike in this book was how the women were treated. And, like, yeah, in Greek mythology, it seems like women are kind of one-dimensional characters. They're meant to be to help with the plot, to give the hero to do something. They're often raped by, Zeus or whoever else. And I didn't particularly care for how this book perpetuated that kind of role that women play. So in our book club, I talked about that a lot and how much I didn't care for it and how much I didn't care for it. And then I was thinking, again, I read this book in like 3 days and I haven't gone back to it since. So I could be wrong. But so there's this one part where Achilles, his mother, who's a sea nymph and who wants him to become do something courageous enough for him to become a god. Achilles does not want to fight in the Battle of Troy. So his mother, spirits him away, and he ends up on the island of Skyros, and he has to, disguise himself as a woman while he's there. He ends up having sex with the princess of Skyros. And as I remember it was his mother said, if you don't have sex with her, I'll, kill Patroclus or something. Or I'll make sure he never finds you. Something like that.
Because she was supposed to tell Patroclus where Achilles was.
Oh, that's right. It was if you have sex with this princess, and I guess the point was to foster a child, which does happen, then I'll tell Patroclus where you are, which she doesn't, by the way.
Of course not.
Of course not. Yeah, his mother doesn't care for Patroclus, which, slay.
She's a Greek goddess.
She does not have to like anyone, just saying. Anyways, most stuff happens. Patroclus does find Achilles anyways. And then this princess who's had sex with Achilles out of wedlock is really upset.
I thought they got married.
No, I don't think they get married because she goes away until the baby is born, so Achilles can claim the baby as his son. But Achilles leaves before that happens. For Troy. I wish I could tell you the princess's name. I do not remember it. Anyways, so the princess really isn't thrilled that Achilles wants to leave and not marry her, which understandable. And then also that Achilles is wholly uninterested in her and is only interested in Patroclus.
Not even just uninterested romantically or sexually. It's he ignores her.
He ignores her, yeah. When they're having dinner all together, Patroclus has to encourage Achilles to even ask how the princess's day was. So, anyways, I'm getting there. I promise. Eventually, before the princess has to leave to conceal her pregnancy until Achilles can claim the child as his. She has her guards bring Patroclus to her room, and like she calls him ugly, and then I was under the impression that she was like, what does Achilles even see in you? That he doesn't see me or whatever. Anyways, and then she has sex with Patroclus as well. And for my memory, which could be wrong, I remember Patroclus wanting Achilles to find them so that he wouldn't have to have sex with her. And the princess tells him that, like, Achilles won't find you, especially here. He never comes here. He never comes to my room, you know? And then I just remember from doing the sex scene how Patroclus is like, I'm going to play up that I'm enjoying this just because I feel pity for this princess. So, my point being, in my book club, I was being like, oh, I don't like how the women are just raped and then put aside or used as pawns or whatever. And I didn't think about at the time the sexual coercion that Achilles and Patroclus had went through on Skyros, which I think is. The point is, it just made me consider my own, I guess, biases to look more at women being raped in novels versus men being raped in novels. Because I think if there was no negative repercussions, I don't think Patroclus or Achilles would have had sex with that princess. They don't seem into it. Well, you know, we didn't get Achilles' POV, but like he did it so his mother would tell. If he did it, otherwise his mother wouldn't tell Patroclus where he was.
Yeah,
which she didn't do anyways. So I would consider that coerced or at least dubious for both of them, right? So there's that. I wish I brought that up in book club. I didn't think about it until book club was over, and I was like, oh, I should have talked about that. Yeah. That's mainly what I wanted to say. This isn't a great comprehensive video. I just wanted to talk about the one thing that I forgot to talk about in book club. And that's why we have a YouTube.
And with that parting kiss.
So I guess that was interesting. Also, some of the BS that Patroclus gets up to with like how much he adores Achilles. I do know if this was a heterosexual romance and Patroclus was a girl because he is in the more classical feminine position in romance, I would be like, go, leave, dump his ass. Achilles is not all that. But since it was a little gay relationship, I was like, perfect. I love to see the drama in the relationship. Stay with him, Patroclus. Stay with him. Even though your morals and values are getting farther and farther apart the longer you're at Troy. Stay with his ass.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too, because it's very much like, I'm just here for the little gay story.
Yeah.
Which was kind of weird in what I was expecting to be the little gay story, to have like most of the sex scenes be between a man and a woman. It's not even like a sex scene. There weren't like
it wasn't graphic or anything, but like it's definitely like, clear they're having sex.
There's more
het
sex in this book than not. I was just surprised by that, and then I was like, is this like the author's self-insert in these women? What? Anyways, I'm not saying that's what it was. That's just kind of what I was wondering while listening.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was talking about. I don't remember what I was talking about. That's okay. Oh, the fact that it was, I agree with Beth would say like, oh, we were just kind of saying for little gay scenes. Because, you know, most of the book, I wasn't super into it. And I remember talking to Beth and being like, the one thing this book has going for it is that it's queer. If it was hetero, I would so not be into it. And I think that's kind of still the case because most of my excitement around Patroclus and Achilles, that's his name. I almost said Hercules. I was like, no, it's not that one. It's not Hercules. It's not Heracles. It's Achilles. Most of like my interest in kind of like liking them has definitely come from just looking at a shit ton of fan art on Tumblr. And that's how it goes. That's the propaganda that's getting them into my brain. It wasn't the book. The book was fine. It was fine.
It was mid.
The fan art is fantastic, though. Anyways, so there's a little thing about the book club. I remembered the other thing I wanted to talk about in book club. So this whole time, Patroclus, because he's the only narrator. He's the only POV narrator for the whole book. Even after he dies, that was pretty fun.
No. It was unexpected.
So he continuously says that there's no, like, he and Achilles don't keep secrets. Even when they don't really want to tell the other person something they did, they always do it. Because this isn't something they would keep from each other. Mm-hmm. Which I think is supposed to show, like, how much they care for each other and, like, how close the relationship is. But the thing is, I know about the story of Achilles, that his mother at some point or another takes him down into the river Styx and holds him by his ankle, dips him in to make him impervious to death. So while listening to this book, there was a few times where Achilles like went off with his mama throughout the book, and I would be like, oh, is she going to dip him in the river? Is this when he gets like his divine protection? And we never hear word of it. The closest thing we hear about Achilles' heel, is at the end of the book when Paris of Troy is going to shoot Achilles to try to kill him and the god Apollo is there. And Paris asks Apollo where to aim, and he can't even finish his sentence about, he says like, I've heard he's impervious, I think is as far as he gets, before Apollo's like, don't worry about it. And he like consecrates the arrow and says, hit him in the back. And then Achilles is killed with an arrow into his back. So first, I hated it. I was like, that's so lame. They should have brought up the heel. Secondly, though, I was like, I actually like this. I like the reasoning that they're like, yeah, he was dumped in the river, but it's Apollo. It's Apollo who's killing him, basically, right? And then thirdly, I thought, oh, even if Achilles told Patroclus about being dipped in the water off screen, I feel like Patroclus would have thought about it.
Yeah.
At least at some point, because he thinks a lot in this book. So that just made me thought, Patroclus is over here saying how they never keep anything from each other. And this is a big ass secret Achilles is keeping from him. Now, if I was going to be the greatest fighter of all the Greeks, I would probably keep my one weakness secret just in case they got my boyfriend and tortured it out of him. Just saying, just in case. You can't be too safe.
Can't be too safe.
But I just like that as Patroclus saying how they never keep anything from each other. And since I know about Achilles heel, I know that Achilles is keeping something. And just because I think it would have been mentioned in the narration.
Yeah.
If Patroclus knew.
Yeah.
So I went through the whole thing of, oh, that's so lame, to, ooh, I like it, to, ooh, that has implications. So there we go.
The whole gambit.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, only 4 stars because when I finished the book, I rated it 4 stars because I liked it. And I think now it seems like I should rate it 5, but that's only because I've looked at a lot of fan art. 5? Because I looked at a lot of fan art and I'm into Patroclus. But I'm not changing it. It's a 4 to me. Anyways, so that was all Song of Achilles little chat. From my understanding, it's definitely inaccurate in some places, like according to the Iliad and stuff.
Oh, but of course.
Very inaccurate. But like, if it's just like, you just want like a light little read, that's, pretty, it's fine most of the time and enjoyable. Enjoyable in some places, fine most of the time. Very unenjoyable with how the women are treated. If you're fine with that, I'd recommend it to like just a little ditty, a little listen to. Yeah. There's the book. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, just that I'll reiterate that if you're looking for kind of more of a brainless, not in a derogatory way, but a brainless queer listen, yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for listening. You can look forward to our next set of videos. Should be a chapter-by-chapter reading of Freckles by Gene Stratton Bordeaux, which Beth is especially looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Our mother read this book to us when we were really young, so I remember bits of it. We were actually talking about Freckles a couple days ago. Yesterday, I think, actually. And I asked Beth if something happened in the book. And then I was like, the memory's coming back of a plot point. So I think it would be enjoyable to listen, to read another book together and do little videos for you all again. So you'll hear from us again soon.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
so much for joining.